Hello and welcome to another episode of reveurovision. This week we're looking at Azerbaijan. Now, will this song fill us with that heat from the land of fire or leave us feeling a little cold? Now, before we delve in deep with Mata Hari, let's have a little look back, shall we, on Azerbaijan at the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, they've participated 12 times since their debut in 2008, and Azerbaijan actually won in 2011 with El and Nikki with the song Running Scared.
Come to me tonight, I gotta need you anyway.
So they were in the top five times between 2009 and 2013. And in 2018, they actually failed to get into the semi-final for the first time. Now, let's have a little look at their song this year. It's the second song in Eurovision's history to be called Mata Hari after 1976's Norway entry with Anna Kari. So what do we think of this new version of a similar title? Shall we go to Emily first?
Obsessed with this entry. I just think it's something that Eurovision has been kind of missing, you know, these kind of like almost kind of like oriental vibes, and I think they've been lost since Turkey has stopped kind of competing, because it used to be that Turkey would bring the kind of, you know, the fusion between kind of Eastern Europe and Western Asia to kind of the Eurovision Song Contest. And I think Azerbaijan last year, where Efendi would have sung Cleopatra, and I think this year they've realised there's this kind of gap in the market to kind of have this like oriental display at Eurovision to make themselves kind of stand out. So I do think it's really interesting that Efendi seems to be almost taking on a role that Turkey used to have within the contest. But other than that, I think it's a really strong entry, and I think, I'm sorry, Jack, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring in the comparison to Fuego, because I do think it has that potential.
No.
Yes.
Madam. Oh my heavens.
It does. It has that potential for that fierce, femme fatale, like energy within like the dance routine. We've kind of seen in the music video, there's a lot more kind of dance content than there was in Cleopatra last year. There's definitely, I can just see you there like,
this is blasphemy. You can't.
Not at all. And I think it is really interesting, though. I'll meander back a little bit. It is really interesting that Azerbaijan is kind of putting up this kind of entry, because I think in years gone by, especially over the past kind of decade, they've put up really kind of like hyper Western kind of pop songs. You know, we had Chinggis with Truth in 2019, you know, that could have come from essentially any country. Whereas I think what they've done this year and last year, it has a distinct vibe that a lot of countries in Europe maybe kind of wouldn't get away with without kind of being accused of stuff like cultural appropriation, etc. So that aside, I think this is a really strong entry, and it offers something different that Eurovision has arguably been missing since Turkey stopped competing.
Some great points there. What about you, Jack? Not quite obviously the level of Fuego, I'm guessing.
Well, nothing is the level of Fuego. Like, it is physically impossible. If you can't beat 100% perfection ever, so there's no point in even comparing it, because it's impossible and you're always going to come off badly. I think you do raise the very interesting point that this is very Turkish, and it's something that I hadn't considered before, because it is in the same sort of ilk as Every Way That I Can back in 2003, which is one of the best winners of the century. It was so good. And this is in the same ilk as it. I think this is definitely something that Turkey would have sent. I do enjoy it, nowhere near to the Fuego point, but that's physically impossible. it is in my top 10. We'll go into that a little bit more later on, but I think it's strong, and it's very similar to Cleopatra from last year. In fact, it's so similar, it is pretty much the same song. It is that sort of thing that she does in it as well. The dance moves, it's about like a strong woman who died. Admittedly, Cleopatra, I think she killed herself with an asp. Mata Hari was shot in the head. So that's literally the only difference, that, you know, the way these young women who were quite powerful and strong died. But as a song, it's really, really similar. I did like Cleopatra. I think I like this more, actually. It's more approachable, and it's more, you know, it's going to attract voters a lot more. And you are right to say that it has got a lot more staging potential. So it's strong, but not anywhere near Fuego at all.
So mostly positive there, I think. In terms of my thing, I mean, I've had to try and keep it cool and professional throughout, but this is my favorite. I love it so much. It's so good. There's nothing I could say bad about it. I mean, at first, I remember first watching it and I thought, oh, this is very Ariana Grande. And then suddenly she's like, no, it's Cleopatra. And then you know where you're going. And I love it. And I think, you know, it's got really good beat to it. Like, it's got a good sound. It's got good movements. I think it's full of that sort of Middle Eastern feel to it, which I just love. I think it feels so individual as well, which is really good for Eurovision. And then as well, you know, it just kicks off at the end. So it's suddenly in this rave. And I just love it. I mean, I got to try and calm down again now because I'm getting too excited. But yeah. Anyhow, shall we look at the scores and where we placed it? How will it do we think? Let's go back to you, Emily.
So I think Azerbaijan's kind of qualification record at Eurovision is kind of almost perfect, bar 2018. And in my opinion, that should have qualified as well. So I think it'll have kind of no problems qualifying. It does, like we've kind of said, it is kind of another female pop song, but I do think it has that kind of exotic oriental difference that'll make it kind of stand out compared to other entries. So I think no problems qualifying. I think it'll kind of soar up the leaderboard in the final. For me, it's my personal number 3. So very, very, very high rating there from me. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how it does.
So doing very well there. What about you, Jack? Well, again, I really enjoy it. I like it a lot. It's my personal number 9, so it's still in my top 10, definitely, which is, you know, hard to do. You know, it's a very selective top 10. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I think it's absolutely no question this is going to qualify. It'll breeze through. Easy top 5 in the semi-final, and I think top 10 in the final is very possible if they stage it right. And apparently their plans for 2020 with Cleopatra were like, Azerbaijan has thrown the kitchen sink at that, and they've got money and they were going to use it on Cleopatra. So because the songs are so bloody similar, you probably will be able to just copy and paste the staging that they were going to have for last year onto this one. So if, as is rumoured, they're going to bring the show to this could do very, very well indeed for Azerbaijan. Not a winner. It isn't going to win Eurovision, but it's the best Azerbaijan will probably do for quite some time. Very good. I think, you know, in my books, this is the winner of Eurovision. I just love it so much. I mean, I've given it number 1. Cue the graphics, cue the fireworks, give her the award already. She's my winner. I just think it's so good, and I just love it. I can't get that across enough. She's got a collective score of 13, which is the best we've had yet. And looking at our leaderboard of the first 15, you can see she's sitting nicely right at the top there, followed closely by Israel and the United Kingdom. Then down at the bottom, we've got Norway and Slovenia. But, you know, it's still all to play for as we carry on looking at some of the entries of this year's Eurovision. So be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon, and follow us on our social media on Instagram and Twitter too, at reveurovision. And you can find plenty of content there too. We'll see you again tomorrow with another episode.